All right. Thanks for tuning in to Chook Woo's channel. I am Woo. Please like, share, and subscribe. Today's topic is going to be AI. All right. AI has been a hot topic over the last few years. Think of this as an introduction, right? I'll tell you what AI is, what AI is not, how to use it in your day-to-day life with a few examples, and actually how to write a good prompt, which is really the foundation of allowing you to get the most use out of AI chatbots, particularly. Okay, so let's get started. What is AI? AI stands for artificial intelligence. That's just another way of saying made up intelligence. That's it. Think of it like a super smart robot that can help you with all sorts of tasks. It can help you with ideas, and I'll explain, like I said, a few different ways to use it. What I tell people is you're probably using AI right now, even if you don't know it, right? You open up any sort of tool, whether it's Microsoft Word, whether it's Google, and you start typing, all of that auto-filled content, that's AI, that's generated AI, okay? So I say that all to say, don't be afraid of it. You're probably familiar with using it right now, and it's probably been in your life for a number of years. Now, AI basically guesses what you want by learning from millions of examples. That's called AI training. AI training is basically a developer teaching AI to recognize patterns by giving it millions of previous examples. It's a lengthy process, but the better trained an AI model is, the better it is at doing what you need it to do, okay? Now, you tell it what to do by giving it a prompt. A prompt, think of it as another word for instructions. You want to give it a very specific, a very tight prompt, and I'll give you some details on that in a moment. And then finally, what can it do? It helps you with homework. It helps you with tasks. It helps you with generation of ideas. It can help you with dozens of different tasks, which is why many people not only use it, but people are sort of heralding the coming of AI. It's going to be very important, in my opinion, over the next few years for you to get very familiar with how to use these tools. It can really set you apart in your personal life, definitely at work, etc. Now, that's what AI is. Let's talk for a second about what AI is not. There's a lot of misconceptions here, and I'm not an AI expert, but I do work in this field. AI is not alive, okay? It doesn't have any thoughts. It doesn't have any feelings. It doesn't have any consciousness. You're interacting with a chat bot in any way, shape, or form. It might feel like you're dealing with a human. It's not a person. It doesn't have feelings. It's not even thinking, okay? It doesn't have empathy. The responses from a chatbot, for instance, they may sound caring, they may sound nurturing, but that's just based on how the AI is trained. It's trained on data, millions of examples, like I said at the start of the video. Where do those examples come from? Where does that data come from? That data, an example, it comes from humans. So we are caring, we have empathy. We can sound like we're really in tuned with what the person is saying and have a high emotional quotient. But that's not the truth for AI. It only sounds that way. It doesn't actually have empathy. And then one other thing about what AI is not, it's not 100% accurate. AI is not always right. It has hallucinations. Hallucinations are basically when an AI tool gives you a response, gives you some content, and it presents that response as fact when it's completely wrong. It does make mistakes, okay? Double check your responses always when dealing with AI. Never flat out trust anything that it's giving you. Again, it's not trying to deceive you, but it gets things wrong because, like I said, it's trained on human data. We have errors. The data that went into training the AI is also going to have some errors, okay? Now, let's talk about how to use AI. I say start with a simple chat bot. Go to perplexity.ai. This video is not sponsored by Perplexity. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. It's just a tool that I use in my personal life. It's easy, it's free, and it offers citations. So it tells you where it's getting the information from, okay? Create a free account. Now, what can you do with it? Few things, and this isn't an exhaustive list. This is just a few items. Create content. You want to draft an email, you want to put together an outline for a PowerPoint presentation at work, you want to upload your resume and say, hey, give me a critique, give me some ideas to make this resume better. That's the content creation aspect of AI. Another way you can use it is if you're a coder, you can use it to write code, fix existing code, etc. It's becoming very, very good at that, actually. Some of the developers that I work with are a bit worried, to be honest with you. You can use it to generate ideas, right? What kind of ideas? You want to start a side hustle. You can tell the AI what you're good at, whether it's public speaking, math, teaching, consulting, creating art, and say, generate some ideas where I can start a side hustle based on what I'm already good at. You can ask it for date night ideas, tell it what city you live in, what you and your partner like to do and what you don't like to do. It'll look up all sorts of things based on what's going on in your city or town that weekend, your interests, and generate some good ideas. I use it for that a lot. Put together a workout plan. Tell it what your goal is. I want to drop 10 pounds in the next month. Tell it what your current diet is. Maybe talk about physical injuries if you have a bad knee, so it doesn't recommend jogging 10 miles a day, and it'll give you a complete workout plan. Translate content, English to Spanish, Spanish to English. We all know that. You can use it. Some AI offers the ability to create images, create short movies. There are many tools that you can look up online that do just that, and I've actually used it for that. It can be very, very good at that. And then other things like create travel plans and itinerary. So the point here is you can use AI today in many different ways. Think of it as an efficiency tool. It's not going to replace your thinking. It's not going to replace humans, at least as of 2026, but it can be, think of it like a personal assistant. It can help you with tasks that you want to do, things that take some thought, but you don't want to connect all the dots and do all the research. Put a prompt into an AI chat tool and let it do that for you, saving you hours per day, okay? Now, we talked about what AI is, and I touched upon how you use it by giving it a prompt. We talked about what it's not and how to use it today. Let's talk about prompting. This is the backbone of a human interacting with AI right now. Okay, so I talked about going to Perplexity AI and creating a free account. You're going to do all these things, create content, tell it to write code, generate ideas by giving it a prompt, giving it instructions, okay? Now your prompt, it should be very clear, right? You want to be more specific than not. I tell people, don't be afraid to write a long prompt. It can understand lengthy content. You don't have to boil what your instructions are down to 2 or 3 words or a sentence. You can give it a paragraph or a prompt. You also want to give the chatbot a role. Tell it, in your response, I want you to pretend that you are a doctor, you're an accountant, you're an author, you're a programmer, you're a novelist. That, because, like I said, it's trained on millions of different pieces of data, it has a whole huge library to choose from. If you give it a role, it says, okay, let me focus on this particular type of persona to generate the response. It narrows it down so it's not searching the whole library, if that makes sense. Like I said, talk to it and give it a command like you're talking to a person. Pretend like you're chatting with it. That's why they call it a chatbot. You don't have to use programming language. You don't have to use jargon. Talk to it like you're talking to a friend. And then one thing I find helpful, tell it a format, right? So let's say you say, generate a story about a 10-year-old boy on a fishing trip with his father. You tell it to act as an author, okay? And you talk to it in a very natural way. You tell it that the story should be 3 pages long. It should include some mystery. The point is, tell it the format of the response, how long it should be. Should it be a table? Should it be a story? Should the response be bulleted? And I always tell it, particularly when I'm using it for things like, give me an outline for a presentation, offer a critique of my resume. Tell it to be terse. Terse basically means be brief. Don't give me this huge novel of an answer that I have to basically copy and paste and put it back into the chat tool and say, summarize this. If you tell the tools, and this is what I'm finding, to be terse, the response that you're going to get is going to be not only more focused, but it's going to be something that you don't have to take 20 minutes to understand. The whole point of these tools is for it to help you. So if you tell it to be terse, tell it to be brief, the response, you're going to be able to take that response right there, assuming you wrote a good prompt, and use it without fine-tuning it and without changing it, okay? So that's today's video. I hope you found value in this. You now understand what AI is, what it is not, how to use it, how to write a prompt. There's much more that I can discuss on this topic. If you all are interested in that, let me know in the comments. Again, like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for tuning into Chukbu's channel. Take care.